Are you interested in effortlessly growing your Bitcoin portfolio? I sure am. The Bitcoin credit card by Gemini earns you Bitcoin back on every purchase. Use it like any credit card. Buy lunch, gas, or your weekly groceries, and you'll earn up to 4% back instantly in Bitcoin or one of over 50 other cryptos straight to your account. All that with no annual fee, and right now you can grab a $200 Bitcoin welcome bonus. It's the easiest way to start building your Bitcoin stack. Go to Gemini.com/card to learn more. Terms apply. See the link in the description for more information regarding rates and fees.
This is a 30-second ad. In just 30 seconds, there are likely to be an average of over 30,000 cyber threats to all businesses. Since I've been talking, more than 10,000 likely just happened. Hey, cyber threats don't wait, and neither should you. With advanced security solutions, Comcast Business can help keep your network and data secure and your business reliably up and running. Get threat ready with Comcast Business. Learn how at comcastbusiness.com/cybersecurity.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah. This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Yes, here we go. Follow the Money. Paulie Howard, Mike Palm, live from Circa, downtown, baby. Getting ready for Game 5 coming up. As always, listen to us, Sirius XM Channel 158, iHeartRadio, big program in store. Sal Pal in an hour. What's going on, the news and notes in the NFL, the look-ahead lines we'll get to. A.J. Ramos on Game 5. Played with Ohtani as well in MLB Radio Network, Sirius XM. We'll talk to him. And Matt Humans with a lot of picks and college basketball right around the corner. Matt with a plethora of props as well. Palm readers, unite. The maestro. You cannot be serious as well. And he's in today. Mitch Moss under the weather. Probably got it from his son. That is unfortunate. My friend, good to see you. We have a series here. And it was a gotta-have-it game for the Jays. Now it's a gotta-have-it game for the Dodgers. Pivotal Game 5. You go back in history. If it's tied at 2, the winner of Game 5 wins 67% of the time. Yamamoto in their back pocket for Game 6. And now we get a rematch of Game 1. Can they make Snell work again?
Well, you had the excuse in Game 1, and great to be with you, Paul. Big show today. Eagles on a bye week. Can't wait to be here. Anyhow. You had the excuse of 10 days rest for Snell. Snell had been unhittable for 6 weeks. He'd been the best pitcher in postseason baseball. Our guy, Jensen Lewis, said Game 1 will be the outlier. He won't have control, and he did not have command of his fastball. We saw that. What will the effect be? Also tonight, Savage has to pitch on the road.
Correct.
They've been able to throw him at home against the Yankees, at home twice against Seattle. This will be his first postseason start outside of the friendly confines of Toronto. I think both things work in the Dodgers' favor tonight. However, if this were a prize fight, Paul, if this were a UFC match, if this were an ice skating competition, if you had to go to the scorecards, you'd have to give it to the Blue Jays through 4 games. They've been the better team.
Mm-hmm. Well said. So we talked about this before the series started. This team is so good. Oh, the pitching. To have a 1.40 starters ERA. Your Brewers were held to a 1.18 batting average. Scored 4 runs in the series. But what if the Dodgers get their bats going? Well, we're still waiting for the Dodgers to get their bats going, and it hasn't happened. Mookie's 5 for his last 34. Pa has his 4 for his last 50. They're probably going to sit him today. Yeah. Muncie's had some horrible at-bats. So you go back and look at this. Let's go to the Philadelphia series, the game they blew in Game 1. But the Dodgers got 3 of the runs off the Phillies' bullpen. They also did damage against the Phillies' bullpen in Game 2. They won 2-1 with that crazy walk-off to eliminate the Phillies. Then they beat Milwaukee 2-1, 3-1, 5-1. 2 of the runs were off the bullpen. Then was the crazy Ohtani game. They didn't hit in Game 1. They didn't hit last night. And then you also had the crazy Ohtani game, too. So he's responsible for 2 of their, when you look, well, they scored 6 runs. Oh, they scored 5 runs. Well, he was responsible for 5 home runs in those games in what he did. Can you really trust this Dodger offense right now? That's a legitimate question.
It's a legitimate question. Betts certainly hasn't been terrific in the 2 all. I mean, you walk Ohtani 5 times to get to Betts. Think about that.
Think about that.
I understand that.
Yeah.
They scored 1 run in the last 11 innings of Game 3, right? And come back with 2 last night in 9 innings. So they've got 3 in their last 20 innings. They were shut down in Game 1. That game was 1-1 in the 7th game, too, the Yamamoto game, too, right? Before
Very good.
Will Smith, instead of walking, ends up hitting the home run.
Very good.
You haven't been able to rely on their offense. They need to get these shutdown performances from their starting pitchers. Can you Savage give Toronto another quality outing against this team? I do feel like these are throwaway innings once you get beyond Freeman even. And how about Will Smith? I mean, he caught 18 innings in Game 3. I couldn't believe he was back out there last night. What's this guy got left in the tank, and you're hitting him in the 4-hole?
Oh, hello, and it's 96 degrees. What do you think of that angle?
Very
you have
interesting.
that too. So I know Ohtani was getting the IVs and what happened, and it's easy to say now, but they shouldn't have brought him out for the 7th inning, as he was just gassed and didn't have much. He should have been honest with Roberts there and the staff. But 96 degrees, excellent point about Smith, and let's say they make Snell work here, like they did in Game 1. They fouled off 22 pitches, 11 with 2 strikes, the most ever when Snell in a game that he's encountered. And all those pitches he threw in the first inning. He's on normal rest now.
Well, he's on 4 days. So, I mean, they go back from 4 or 5. You have to see if he finds it again. I can remember Mitch betting this guy for Cy Young, and he'd be at 100 pitches through the 5th inning every game, remember?
Yes, right.
He's got great stuff, but it took him a lot of pitches to get guys out as a strikeout pitcher. He didn't have the command that he's had the last few years. So we'll see. Two guys obviously play a large role here, but can the Dodgers get anything out of their lineup? You're not seeing the big hits out of Tommy Edman this year.
Nope.
You're not. The 9-hole's a joke. It's an automatic out. They can't get anybody on base. That's why they can walk Ohtani every time, because nobody can get on base from the 8 and 9 hole.
Would you play call? Would you sit Pages?
I don't know.
He was so good in the regular season. You're right.
He's a
been
streaky
automatic
guy.
Yeah.
Pages is a streak. He was horrible the first month of the year. I thought they were going to send him down. Then he was better for the next 3 months. I don't know. Cole had a terrible at-bat when he could have ended that game a lot earlier.
Come on.
That was the at-bat to end the game with the runner on third. You pop up on a 2-0 pitch.
Yeah.
I'd probably stick with Pages.
After he pitches, Ohtani 5 for his last 34 with 14 strikeouts. Another cause for concern. Also, what do we do with his props? How do the Blue Jays pitch to him? Snyder was asked after Game 4, are you going to walk him moving forward? He said yes. Then before the game, he said, are you going to walk him in his first at-bat? He said, I don't know. They walked him, but they pitched to him. Bieber fell behind 3-0. That cashed if you had it available. Exact outcome, walk was plus 475. But then they pitched to him the rest of the game, and he struck out twice, and they did a good
to
job.
Bieber.
You're also going to pitch to him when you have the lead, though, too. You're not going to put ducks on the pond.
The 3-1 pitch was a foot low, and Payne called it a strike. And then the 3-2 pitch was a strike, and he called it a ball.
I agree.
But they weren't trying to walk him. Bieber was just trying to be careful with him.
Right. So how would you attack it here? Go right after him, or you'd see how it goes?
I think if I'm your Savage, I'm throwing a lot of the splitter and down, and see if he wants to take a swing and get some weak contact. It's different later in the game. I agreed with every time they walked him in that extra inning game. After that game got tied in the 7th, I think Schneider's managed this very well. I thought that could have been a weakness for this team.
How can you say that after what he did in the extra innings game, taking everybody out?
Well, I don't know. I mean, they were the guys with the bullpen left. We would be looking at Yamamoto for another 9 innings if the Dodgers don't win it. And then what for Game 6?
Yeah. What'd you think?
What would have happened then?
Oh, God. I couldn't get enough of that. Yamamoto's coming into the game, and Bieber's warming up. Who knows how long the game would have gone?
I want to ask A.J. Ramos later, and I'm going to ask Jensen Lewis tomorrow morning. How much does that warming up in between his starts take out of him?
Good question.
Do you think that will have an effect? It does set up now, though, if the Dodgers are going to win this 4-2 or 4-3, and he has 2 great starts, where he's definitely in play for MVP. If he'd have come in and got the win in relief and could have made another start, but you have to consider him now. He's really the only Dodger pitcher that's eligible for MVP. And before the series, Ohtani was plus 150, and then 4 out of the next 5 guys outside of Guerrero were Dodger pitchers in the odds. They just stacked up all the starters.
Vlad's 3-1 now. If the Jays win, it's Vlad, right?
The huge home run
you saw
put
it
them up.
But that goes back to fatigue. Where were the pitches?
Yeah.
He's high.
Yeah, they were up. The curveball way up.
Way up.
Yep.
The at-bat by Lukes, the base hit, up. The home run, up. Okay. Ohtani's down to minus 160. Yamamoto's 16-1.
He's higher. He was 12-1 before the series.
I guess this is madness. I get a walk-off from Freddie Freeman. I'm 25-1. Gosh, son of a... Kirk 8-1. He's killing it. He's doing a great job as well. So what do you want to do with your Savage props? You good point about his first road playoff start. They also get to see him for the second time, which is huge. He can't go four innings, five innings?
Absolutely, he can go 5 innings.
Yeah.
You need him to go 5 innings.
Yes.
I think Snyder's been very good with his decisions with the starters in this game. He got another inning out of Bieber. You heard Davey Roberts in the whatever that 4th inning interview said, "How's Bieber pitching? He's pitching great. I think if we can get him out after the 5th." Well, you didn't. He got through a full 6 innings. I think your Savage can go 5. I would go over 14.5 outs with your Savage, whatever that price is.
You want to go what?
I would think he can get 5 innings.
Yes.
I would think you could bet over 14.5.
12.5 at DraftKings.
I get it, but you could get plus numbers on a little bit of laddering.
Sure.
What's Yamamoto been? Over 26.5.
Good, yeah.
Right.
12.5 at DraftKings. You can ladder like Mike talked about. Here at your joint, you are 5 for the K prop. DraftKings is 5.5. To record a win, juicy, almost 6-1. And then I know it was Burke today, I think, who wrote about he likes walks over, that he's gone over his walk prop 3 straight starts. And I don't mind that. Hits allowed, 3.5 over -130. And then all the different props you can bet as well. Ohtani now at William Hill, walks is 1.5 over -130. I had to bet the under.
Yeah.
I just think they're not going to, like Jensen Lewis said, they won't walk him to start the game. At least they won't try, right? But then who knows how the game's going to go. Someone will have a nice lead, that kind of thing. So I bet under 1.5 walks. I bet the total bases
what's
under.
Snell's strikeouts? To me, that's fascinating.
6.5.
Yeah, to me, that's fascinating because you have a great strikeout pitcher,
right.
a team that doesn't strike out.
That's right. 6.5. And what happened in game 1 as well. I'm telling you, man, it's incredible how they make you work. And they go deep in counts and the foul balls. Just an incredible job. Excellent as well. Okay, we're going to get to more of the World Series and props that we like coming up, and also recap what happened last night. We also get into a little bit of the NBA, some numbers that will blow your mind coming up when you use the prop analyzer. A ton of guys are 4-0 over on all these different categories. We're going to share some of those coming up next on Follow the Money VSiN, the Sports Betting Network, Sirius XM Channel 158.
At Boar's we make game day entertaining elevated and effortless. Whether you order catering platters ahead from your local deli or create your own spread with premium deli meats and cheeses, you're sure to impress your guests with the very best. Fan favorites like Oven Gold Turkey, paired with our classic Vermont cheddar, are sure to score big. Game-winning flavor in every bite. Boar's Head, committed to craft since 1905.
Clorox Toilet Wand, it's all in one. Clorox Toilet Wand, it's all in one.
Hey, what does all in one mean?
The caddy, the wand, the preloaded pad. There's a cleaner in there, inside the pad.
So Clorox Toilet Wand is all I need to clean a toilet?
You don't need a bottle of solution to get into this toilet revolution. Clorox, clean feels good.
Use as directed.
Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Paulie Howard, Mike Palm, Mitch out sick, hopefully back tomorrow. We'll get to Matt Humans later in the program. AJ Ramos also to preview Game 5 of the World Series. It's our weekly visit with the Hall of Famer and the legend. Vito's son, Sal Palantonio, joins us now on the Progressive guest line. Eagles on a bye. We'll touch on them coming up a little bit later, and we have a lot to go over coming up. First of all, my friend, good to talk to you. Gotta have it game tomorrow. They're all big, as Lamar Jackson says. They're like playoff games. What do you think of Baltimore hitting the road with Lamar back in Miami?
Tough game for them. You know, if they stay on the run game, right? That's where the money is right now. You know, your show is called Follow the Money. Well, right now in the NFL, the money is in the running backs. We're in the midst of a running back renaissance, revival, revolution, whatever you want to call it. Just look at what was the winning formula throughout the NFL last week. You look at the Ravens, they leaned on Derrick Henry heavily. Can you believe the Bears lost to Tyler Huntley? Can you believe that? And the reason why they lost to Tyler Huntley is because Todd Monken, the offensive coordinator, said, you know what, we just got to lean on Derrick Henry. You look at the Bills last week, 35 rushes for 245 against the Carolina Panthers on the road. You look at the Patriots at home last week, 35 rushing attempts for 177 yards. You look at the Texans, how did they beat the Niners? 36 rushes for 157 yards. You go down the list in the NFL last week. How did the Dolphins shock Atlanta? How did the Dolphins shock the Falcons in Atlanta? 37 rushing attempts for 141 yards. And the Ravens, 35 rushing attempts for 177 yards against the Chicago Bears. You got to get those rushing attempts north of 30, close to 35. That's the winning formula, and that's the way the Ravens are going to go down and beat the Dolphins in this game on Thursday night.
Sal, speaking of great running backs, Indianapolis has one in Jonathan Taylor. In fact, I was looking at his MVP odds a little bit here. Find him at 50, 55 to 1 still. They will be taking on the Steelers on Sunday in Pittsburgh, and you're going to be there. How do you see this game? And with the Chiefs and the Bills playing later in the day, there's an opportunity that the Colts could have a 2-game lead on both of them. How dangerous are the Colts to be the AFC representative in the Super Bowl if they can get the 1 seed?
Super dangerous. I don't like Jonathan Taylor as the MVP because they just don't give it to running backs.
Yes.
I know the voters, I know them all, and they are prejudiced against giving it to running backs. It's been a long, long time, right? Adrian Peterson was the last one. A long time ago, galaxy far, far away. So I don't think he's going to get it, but the Colts are for real. And why? You know what was really funny this week? I opened the Wall Street Journal. I read 2 newspapers in the morning, first thing, New York Post, Wall Street Journal.
All right.
I read the Wall Street Journal on Monday, and there's a big column. Where did this offense come from of the Indianapolis Colts? It's not too tough to figure out, gentlemen. Shane Steichen was the offensive coordinator of the Eagles that went to Super Bowl 57 when that offense nearly upset the Chiefs. If the Eagles had won that game, Jalen Hurts would have been the MVP, but they couldn't get a stop in the fourth quarter of that football game. Shane Steichen took the offense from Philadelphia, a run-based offense, and is running it in Indianapolis. That's where this offense came from. It's tailor-made to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. This offense is tailor-made to beat the Chiefs because it almost did it. They only lost by 3 points in Super Bowl 57, and they demolished them in Super Bowl 59. Beware of the Colts. They are totally for real because of the way they run the ball. Their offensive line is bigger than any other offensive line in the AFC. The only offensive line that's bigger than theirs is the one in Philadelphia. They have a big offensive line that's athletic, that mows down guys. It's the same concepts he took from Jeff Stoutland, the offensive line coach in Philly, and he applied them to the Indianapolis Colts. This is basically the same offense that he ran in Philly.
Great answer. Great perspective. I'm with you on the Colts that they're for real as well. How about their opponent? You know, the Ravens are favored to win the division, even though they only have 2 wins. Hayward, after the loss Sunday night, we don't have a lot of fight in us. What do you think of the Steelers moving forward now, and if they can get stops?
Right. You know, that's something a reporter can never say, that a team never had fight in it. You know, it's up to the players and the coaches to say that. But here's my analysis of where they are. Their defense looks old. Why? Because it is old. It's the oldest defense in the National Football League. So it's tough for them to sustain the kind of effort that they need in 4 quarters. You saw that in the last 2 weeks. They got beat by Flacco and Jordan Love, one of the oldest quarterback in the NFL and one of the youngest quarterbacks in the National Football League. And the other thing on the flip side, guys, if you look at their offense, they can't win on third down and they can't win in the red zone. If the offense can't win on third down and they can't win in the red zone, you're not going to win a lot of football games. I just like the Colts. I mean, it's tough to go to Acrisure Stadium. It's tough with the terrible towels. I get it. It's not going to be easy. Daniel Jones to go in there and beat Aaron Rodgers. Psychologically, it's a big hurdle, but schematically and personnel-wise, they're set up to win this game.
As the Cowboys and the 49ers were the storyline of the NFC in the early 90s, and you could even argue the 80s, certainly the Bills and the Chiefs have been the two dominant teams in the AFC in the last handful of years. They meet again in Buffalo at 1:25 Pacific, 4:25 Eastern. Kansas City, a 1.5-point road favorite. How do you see this game, Sal?
Mike, it's an unbelievable thing that they're a road favorite. But you look at the team right now, who's going to stop them? Who's going to stop the Chiefs from going back to the Super Bowl? There really is only one team other than the Colts that can stop them, and that's the Bills. That's the Bills. This is an absolute gotta-have-it game. I'm making this my gotta-have-it game of the week.
Okay.
Because you're Sean McDermott. You're home. You have to be able to beat the Chiefs at home. You got to be able to prove you can do this at home, because if you're going to get number one seed in the AFC, and the Chiefs are going to come in there in January, if you don't beat them at home now, nobody's going to believe you can beat them at home in January. This is where you got to make your stand right here. Draw the line in the sand. This is where you got to do it. Sean McDermott and that Bills defense, which has had problems all year long, they have to reconfigure things. Hey, beating Carolina is one thing, but beating the Chiefs is the other. But how did they beat Carolina? The same way the Colts are beating teams. I mentioned it before. 35 rushing attempts, 245 rushes against the Carolina defense that's not bad. You can run on the Chiefs. They got to lean on their running game in this game. They got to lean on Cook. He had 19 for 216 last week against Carolina. That number's got to go way, way up. He's got to get 25 carries in this football game.
My friend, you know this. Cousin Ralphie knows this. You lose this game, you still have to go to New England. You still have to play the Eagles. You still have to play Tampa. If the Bills lose this, they're probably not even going to win the division. You agree?
Not good.
Yeah.
Not good. New England is totally for real. Absolutely. Now, last week, of course, they beat the Browns. I get it. They were home. But here's the thing about New England that sets them up against everybody. One, I already mentioned it, 35 rushing attempts. So Josh McDaniels has got the offense in a good complementary football mode. What do you do with a young quarterback? You don't let him throw the ball too much. Drake May only had 24 passing attempts in that game. That's the Ben Roethlisberger model. When Roethlisberger was a rookie in Pittsburgh, they never let him throw the ball more than 20, 25 times a game, and they rode the bus to the Super Bowl, if you remember. So that's what they got to do in New England. They understand it. You run the ball, play complementary football. You don't turn the ball over. Now, Drake May did have an interception in that game, and they did, of course, lose a fumble. Okay, so if you do that, if you're losing a fumble and an interception down the road when you play better teams, that's going to bite you in the rear end, and you're going to lose football games. They absolutely have to make sure that they do two things: run the ball and don't turn the ball over, and they'll be right there at the top of the American Conference, the AFC East, going down the stretch, fighting for Buffalo for the number one spot.
Sal, a little over a minute left. Eagles on the bye this week. The NFL trade deadline is next Tuesday. Do you expect them to make any moves, maybe try to pick up a cornerback?
Yeah, they got to get a corner. There's no question about it. Darius, let me just mention this to you, and I don't know if this is going to happen, but Darius Slay was benched last week. They're not entirely happy with some of the stuff that's going on with Darius Slay. Could the Eagles bring him back to that left corner spot? They need depth. They need depth at corner. They need absolutely somebody who knows how to cover in one-on-one situations. Now, eventually, do they move Cooper DeJean out to the left corner spot and find themselves a slot corner at some point? Yes, but they absolutely need to go out and find a corner. But somebody has got to convince Cincinnati to trade Trey Hendrickson. The Bengals have never been involved in any of these kind of trades, but this is one where the Bengals have got to bite the bullet and realize, okay, where are we going right now? We know Hendrickson's going to be an unrestricted free agent next year. Do you want another dance with the front office? I don't think so.
Unbelievable appearance as always. Enjoy the games. We'll talk to you next week. Appreciate you.
Always follow the money.
You got it, brother.
Thanks, Sal.
Sal Pell, Progressive Guest Line, Vito's son. Best and worst teams, ATS, NFL, college, and a little hockey. Top, bottom, up next.
Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
This hour sponsored by Better Picks, the daily fantasy sports app where your sports knowledge turns into real cash fast. Download Better or visit better.app now. Sign up today, get your free money, no deposit necessary. Email, tweet at us. The response, very good. Some creativity in terms of what Mike should do and what the wife should do with the son scoring 2 goals and not getting credit with the, forgot his jersey at home, ftm@vsin.com. Time for Matt Youmans, some picks. Go over a lot of stuff here as well. He joins us on the Progressive Guest Line. He's off tonight. I know some good stuff on X lately about the fastest drive-thrus in the rankings, which have been phenomenal as well. Okay, let's start with a couple college football games, and I'm on the same game as you. I've seen this movie before, as I've said with Lincoln Riley. How about Nebraska +7, my man?
Yeah, we're on the same side here. And by the way, Paulie, I don't want to bury the lead here real quickly. I just want to say big congrats to Mike Palm for his crypto success and his new car.
Yes.
Sensational, outstanding success story. Love to see it. You know what? I'm on Nebraska here, too. Here's the thing with Lincoln Riley. 1-2 on the road this year, 1-4 on the road last year in the Big Ten. The one win was at UCLA, and that was an ugly game. So Lincoln Riley's issues have been on the road. There's no question about it. Nebraska, when you look at Dylan Raiola, no, he's not the next Patrick Mahomes, not even close, but he's not having a bad season. 73% completion, 17 touchdowns, 6 picks. Emmett Johnson's really stepped up as a workhorse running back, too. Had 27 carries for 124 yards against Northwestern a week ago, 21 for 176 at Maryland a few weeks ago. 5.7 yards per carry. This Nebraska offense, I think, is going to be able to move it against USCD. And like I said, the Trojans' issues on the road here put me on the home dog. I've got Nebraska +7. I think 6.5 might be the best number out there today. I would buy it up to 7 if you have to, just as a little bit of insurance. But I think the Huskers are live here to win this game. And how can you not think that, Paulie, with all the troubles Lincoln Riley has had when he gets away from the Coliseum?
Maddie, the next game that you're going to be involved in is the world's largest outdoor cocktail party between Georgia and Florida. Somebody asked me how many teams can win the national championship earlier this week. I did not include Georgia because I think their defense is nowhere close to what it was when they were at a championship level. We saw Mississippi have 5 consecutive touchdown drives between the Hedges and Athens to open that game. Georgia laying 7.5 at the total, around 50.5 here.
Mike, you're a sharp guy, and that's part of the reason you probably had so much crypto success. You know, when you look at the Georgia defense, it's not the typical Kirby Smart D. It ranks 130th in sack percentage, and that's 2.4% of the pass attempts that the Bulldogs get to the quarterback. Rank very low in interception percentage and all sorts of pass defense categories. And, hey, look, the problem with the Florida Gators was not talent. It never has been talent. It's been about coaching incompetence. And Billy, Sunbelt Billy, is out, and another Billy's in, Billy Gonzalez. And I've been reading a lot of stories out of Florida, and I think these players are going to be inspired by the coaching change. A lot of times this is a handicapping angle we like to play anyway. The first game after a coaching change, you typically get a bump. I guess the Tennessee Titans are the exception to that. There's an exception to every rule. But Ryan O'Hara is going to be the new play caller. Steve Spurrier Jr. is going to be on the field working with the quarterback, DJ Lagway. And when you look at the Georgia defense, there's no reason to think Florida can't move the ball and beat this team. Mike, I agree with you. The more you look at Georgia, this is a team really walking a tightrope. Should not have won the game at Tennessee. Needed a bunch of officiating handouts to win the game at Auburn. And I just think this team's overdue to take a loss here. Now we're getting 7.5, so we got a bunch of room to play with here. But I'm definitely playing the Gators plus 7.5. I think South Point, BetMGM, a few other books have the 7 in the hook.
You do anything tonight with the World Series, and what do you think the rest of the way?
So I played the Blue Jays plus 200, plus 220 before the series, and just as a hedge, I played the Dodgers in 7 at 5-1 odds. I did have the Blue Jays plus 180 last night. And somebody asked us during the show, what we think for Game 5, and I said I actually have no idea. I don't trust Blake Snell. I'm not going to pay this price with Blake Snell. His pitch count gets run up, and then you have to go to the Dodgers bullpen. I don't think Snell's going to make it through 6 innings tonight. And the Blue Jays know they have to work his pitch count up, and they know how to attack Snell. So this is a tricky one tonight. I would not lay. I don't feel that confident in the Blue Jays winning the game, but that would be the only side I would bet. But I'm already invested in that side. And if the Blue Jays win tonight, they're up 3-2 going home. And as Magic Johnson would tell you, the team up 3-2 takes control of the series, right, Mike?
Oh, yes. That's an astute owner making that observation. Can I interest you in over 8 if you think Snell's going to go short and your Savage is making his first road playoff start?
Well, I got a little bit of interest in that. I really wish George Springer were in the Blue Jays lineup. How much of a difference do you think that makes?
Well, I think it's a big difference because they slide everybody, and you have a guy you can put on top of the lineup.
It's huge if he's healthy
to get on base and in front of Vladdy and in front of Kirk. Matt, you've been very good on college basketball in the past years. Our college basketball betting guide came out. I recently had Greg Hoops Peterson on my show, Bet on Chicago, and he picked UConn to win it all this year. Your thoughts on what teams have value to win a national title?
Yeah, love Danny Hurley or hate him, and I think most people hate him. He's got a team that can win it all again this year. He really does. UConn is loaded. I missed the best number. I got 14-1 on UConn, but they picked up Silas DeMary, a point guard from Georgia. He's a stud. He's got an NBA body. He's going to play in the association. He's going to be the starting point guard. He's from, like I said, transfer from Georgia. Malachi Smith, the backup point, is a transfer from Dayton. Solo Ball, one of the best three-point shooters in the country. You bring in a 7-footer from Germany to play alongside Terrace Reed, who's 6'11" on the front line, and you have a senior, and Alex Caravan, who seems like he's been there 6 years. This UConn team's going to be really good. One thing to keep in mind is Braylon Mullins, the top freshman recruit. He has got an injury, and he's going to be out about the first 4 weeks of the season. So the UConn team you see in November is not going to be the full puzzle. Danny Hurley's got a lot of pieces to work with. I think this team's loaded, like it or not. So UConn 14-1. I did not bet Houston or Purdue at single-digit odds. Just not enough value there. And I was talking with Mitch Moss about this at Stadium Swim on Sunday, and Mitch got down on Kentucky on Friday night. I bet Kentucky about 3 weeks ago at 17-1. Bet them again at 16-1. I think this Kentucky team, top to bottom, the roster is loaded. And in that exhibition game against Purdue last Friday, 2 of Kentucky's better players, Jaden Quaintance and Jalen Lowe, the point guard transfer from Pittsburgh, did not even play. Malachi Moore, 6'11", freshman center, is going to be a star. And I love Mark Pope as a coach. If you're into analytics and offensive innovators as coaches, you got to love Mark Pope. I would say if you're going to pick one team out of this whole group, I'm going to talk about the Bet on Futures. Get down on Kentucky at 16 or 17-1. This team's going to be there. By the way, Kentucky also spent $22 million on this roster.
Wow.
I think it's the highest paid roster in college hoops. Yeah. And you look at St. John's, you can get any. I think DraftKings might have 20-1 on St. John's right now. Zuby Ejiofor, Big East top returning rebounder and scorer. Bryce Hopkins from Providence. You actually got a Rick Pitino has probably got a little bit more talent in UConn, but he doesn't have a true point guard. Pitino says he can win without a point guard. But UConn and St. John's, definitely a 2-horse race in the Big East. Here's a team. I know a lot of people think Purdue, which is the number 1 preseason team in the AP poll, is going to coast in the Big Ten. That's not going to be the case. Look at Michigan. which has a monster front line. Yaxel Lindenborg, the transfer from UAB. Morez Johnson, transfer from Illinois. And 7-3 Ade Mara, the transfer from UCLA. That might be the best front line in college basketball. Lindenborg's going to be an NBA lottery pick. Michigan, if you can find around 20-1, definitely worth a play. Might be closer to 15, 16 at this point, but that's a team for Dusty May that could definitely get there. Even though I don't love the backcourt, the front court's going to be awesome. I got Florida 25-1, UCLA 40-1. Donovan Dent from New Mexico, the new point guard for Mick Cronin. I took a couple of bombs. How about Ole Miss? At Circa, Ole Miss is 95-1. At the Westgate, Ole Miss is 200-1. I took the 200-1 on the Rebels and Chris Beard. By the way, Ole Miss defeated Houston 70-56 in a scrimmage in New Orleans last Saturday. You don't want to make too much out of scrimmages, but it does mean something. And I know Chris Beard is as good as it gets when putting a team together. Notre Dame at 300-1 is another bomb. I love the Irish backcourt. Micah Shrewsbury is a great coach. So there's a handful of college hoops futures for you there. Plus Duke to win the ACC at plus 165, and San Diego State to win the Mountain West at about plus 150.
You know, this is hardcore, but there are only 7 teams in the WAC? That's insane.
Yeah, the WAC's a dying conference. It has been for a long time.
Oh, that's incredible. You get an automatic bid. Grand Canyon goes to the Mountain West. They lost it. There's 7 teams in that league, and they get an automatic bid. Thanks, Matt. Have a good day.
Yeah,
thank you.
We out of time? You bet. Thanks.
All right. That's incredible. I saw that today. I'm like, what? They're down to 7, and they get someone gets an auto bid?
Believe it or not, conferences used to play with 8 teams, Paul.
Man.
For many years.
Well, I will argue.
For many years.
I will argue, and Mitchell bad my back on this, is what super conferences have done to college football. And also the luck factor. Compare who Indiana played last year compared to Oklahoma's schedule. I mean, it's just these Lane Kiffin's right. It's like the NFL now in the SEC with how your schedule looks. The response has been very good and unique about what Mike should do with his son with the goals controversy and leaving the jersey. FTM at VSiN.com. Tweet at us as well at VSiN Live at Paulie Howard. We'll share some of those, and we'll get into a stacked NBA card highlighted by a team on a 10-1 overrun in this scenario next on Follow the Money from Circa downtown, Sirius XM channel 158.
If you're a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility and your machinery isn't working right, Grainger knows you need to understand what's wrong as soon as possible. So when a conveyor motor falters, Grainger offers diagnostic tools like calibration kits and multimeters to help you identify and fix the problem. With Grainger, you can be confident you have everything you need to keep your facility running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Tailgates, game nights, big matchups, whatever the plan, Z-Biotics pre-alcohol probiotic drink fits into your pregame routine. It's a probiotic drink designed to break down a toxic byproduct of alcohol responsible for rough days after drinking. Pre-alcohol supports your body's natural response so you can stay sharp for what's next, even after a night out. Just drink a pre-alcohol before drinking and wake up feeling great the next day, all season long. Head to zbiotics.com/pod15 and get 15% off your first order. Backed by a 100% money-back guarantee. This statement has not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Can't wait for tonight. Pivotal Game 5, World Series. Huge one. Dodgers $1.90, $2. Depends where you shop here at Circa. Snell going with the Dodgers after the rough start in Game 1, and more on this. We talked to A.J. Ramos from MLB Network Radio. He's on the Progressive guest line. You can hear pre- and post-game coverage of every World Series game on MLB Network Radio, and hear A.J. tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern on Loud Outs with C.J. Nikowski. Appreciate the time, my friend. And you must have loved Game 3 as a reliever, that it was all hands on deck. What Klein did and Yamamoto warming up and Bieber warming up, that was awesome stuff.
Man, it's so awesome to watch. When you watch playoff baseball, and especially World Series baseball, it's all about how to get a win. And whatever you got to do to help your ball club win. I think Will Klein, that was the most pitches he's thrown. I think before that, he threw around mid-30s or something like that.
Yeah.
And you know, as a reliever, if you're throwing mid-30s, a lot of times that's maybe 2 innings, and those aren't very good innings if you're throwing that many pitches. So to go from 35 pitches to 70 plus, that really shows what this means to these guys. And I mean, he has some nasty stuff, and he was pinpointing with it. He was having fun. That comebacker he caught it and smiled at the hitter, and it was just amazing to see. I definitely love that. It was a dream of mine to be able to put the team on my back and go out there and do a job, and that's exactly what he did. Even Clayton Kershaw coming out for that bases loaded, getting out of that jam. I mean, that's a future Hall of Famer going in there and doing a job for their team, and it was just so amazing to watch.
AJ, Blake Snell had been on a tremendous roll through late August, through September, through the playoffs, and then he had the aberration of 10 days of rest before Game 1, and he looked like a pitcher early in his career who just didn't have the command that he's had of late. He couldn't spot his fastball in the first inning. Everything was high, and ended up only going 5 in the loss. He's back on 4 days rest. Is that going to be enough to get him back in the groove where he has this command?
I think so. So when you watched him in his last outing, he was doing this thing where he was extending his throwing arm and there's like he was trying to get his feel. Usually when a pitcher does that, I used to do that myself, you're off on your release point. And a lot of times if a Major League Baseball player and a 2-time Cy Young Award winner is off on his release point, it's because of the layoff. So it takes you a little bit to get that feel back. So you can throw bullpens, you can throw live game simulations, all those things, but nothing prepares you like the adrenaline of a ball game, like being in a ball game. So now that he's got that under his belt, not only does he have that, but he has that taste in his mouth, that bad taste in his mouth. And when you talk about a competitor that is able to win multiple Cy Young awards, he has a different level of competition. So I think he has a lot of momentum. I think he has a lot of he has a lot of fire. He has a lot of things he wants to prove. He knows he's a better pitcher than that. So you could see a gem out there. Now I don't know if I go as far as to say he's gonna pitch like he did in the NLCS. It's possible, but I don't see him throwing like he did in the first game of the World Series. I see him throwing somewhere in between. I see him maybe going 6+, possibly 7. And I think if he's on the ropes, I think Doc leaves him in there because as you've seen, the Dodger bullpen has been not performing like they wanted to, with the exception of that 18-inning game where everyone seemed to perform. Right. So I think they're going to try to extend him to 7 innings. He could get there easily, or he could limp in there. Either way, I think unless he's getting knocked around a lot, he's going 7. Okay, now take me through this. It's going to be 96 degrees. How does that impact how the ball travels, the pitchers, what that's like? Take us through that scenario. So the way I think about it, so when it's hotter outside, especially in LA, that ball travels. There's like a jet stream that goes around center field. And so the ball's going to fly, have a little bit more carry on it with that 96 degrees. You saw in that 18-inning game when they got down to the, I think low 60s, some of those guys touched some balls that should have been gone. I think Will Smith hit one that, he almost pimped. Yeah, he almost pimped that ball. Will Smith doesn't pimp balls unless he knows he gets it, and it fell short in center field. Today, if he hits that same ball, that's going to be 5 or 6 rows deep. So as a pitcher, you know that. So you have to make sure that you execute your pitches, don't leave any balls up. But that can also play into the pitcher's hands sometimes because the hitter knows that the ball's traveling, so their swing could maybe get bigger. And as you saw some of the Blue Jays players, I feel like a lot of the Blue Jays players in that 18-inning game, their swings were really big. And that's why Will Klein was able to miss bats or the guys couldn't square up any balls because their swings were really not Will Klein. I'm sorry. Will Klein was he started to the Dodgers couldn't, or the Toronto Blue Jays couldn't square the ball up because they were getting big. Now you go to this last night's game and you saw even Jimenez, they're just slapping the ball the other way, making contact, going back to that Blue Jay way. So with the ball being able to fly out, Maybe some hitters get bigger. Maybe their swings get bigger, and that opens up holes. I used to like when the wind was blowing out because that meant for me that my changeup was going to play even better because it's going to look like a fastball and the guy's going to swing over the top of it or maybe just hit it off the end of the bat instead of squaring it up. So it could play into the pitcher's hands, but with these two teams and these two lineups, my money's going to be it's going to play into the hitters today.
How do you expect your Savage to do his first road playoff start?
So, the thing is with him, he made his first start in the playoffs, so he understands the pressures of it. A World Series game, he says all the right things. He's like, I'm trying to treat it like a normal game. I'm trying to go through my same process. And even though he's saying that, there are nerves going to it, but for the most part, he's done a pretty good job. His last outing, his splitter was not where he wanted it to be. And so if he can get that splitter in the zone, and if he can get his fastball up in the zone, and more importantly, if he can pound the zone down with his fastball, that's going to open up a whole avenue to throw his splitter, because when he peppers that bottom part of that zone, guys give up on it because they think, oh, ball's down, that's probably a splitter, don't swing. But if you throw and pepper that bottom of that zone, now guys have to honor that pitch, and they may think that may be a fastball down in the zone, and that's when you can throw that splitter and they swing over the top of it and they swing at balls in the dirt. So I think he handles the pressure pretty well. He could throw a gem out there tonight. I don't think he's going to lay an egg. I don't think he's that type of guy unless guys like Mookie start to get going. That lineup, Muncy, a lot of the big stars for the Dodgers have not gotten going yet.
Yes.
And so if they get going, it doesn't matter who's on the mound. They're going to foul off enough pitches to get you in the zone that they can do damage, and that's going to be their game plan, and they can execute that.
Former pitcher A.J. Ramos, our guest, MLB Network Radio on the Progressive Guest Line. You can answer this if you're Schneider, and you can also answer this as a competitor and a former reliever. How would you pitch to Ohtani?
Oh, man. So if I'm on the mound, I want to pitch to him, right? I'm throwing soft away. I'm going up and in. If I'm a starter, I'm moving his feet because he doesn't like the ball in. And I'm making sure that I'm throwing my two-strike stuff, even if it's 0-0. If I walk him, I walk him. Now, as a manager, I'm telling my pitcher, hey, or I'm telling the umpire, hey, put him on base. I don't want to deal with him. As a competitor, I want to pitch to him because you want to face the best in the biggest situations. And that might be a little bit of a crazy answer, but I was a closer. I'm 5'10". I got to have that type of mindset, right? But as a manager, I'm making sure I'm putting my team in the best position to win. And that best position when you're facing Shohei, if there's not bases loaded, you put them on.
AJ, we got about a minute left. I don't think people are making enough of the fact that Smith caught 18 innings the other night, and then he comes back with another 9 tonight. Talk about a guy that needs the day off tomorrow. But how much does his body have left in him, and how much offense can you expect from a guy you're putting in the 4-hole when he's caught 27 innings the last 2 days?
And that's amazing. I mean, especially when you think about ground balls in the infield. He's running down the line to back up first base, by the way. So he's done that for 27-plus innings or whatever it is, right? So I don't know what type of production right now. It's all adrenaline and it's all willpower right now because the body definitely is feeling it, but his willpower is going to be strong, and he's done it. He's done it his whole career. So I think you can expect a pop out of him, maybe a homer or something like that. But I wouldn't bet against him. He's one of the best hitters in the game, especially when he controls the zone, and he gets the pitches that he wants. He does damage. So with the hot weather, if he controls the zone, you can expect success.
Great job, AJ. Great to talk to you, and we'll be listening. Enjoy the game tonight.
Yes, you guys too.
You can hear pre- and post-game coverage of every World Series game on MLB Network Radio, and hear AJ tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern on Loud Outs with CJ Nukowski, and he was on the Progressive Guest Line. A lot of picks, a lot of props. What we're betting coming up next on Follow the Money, live from Circa. Sirius XM Channel 158, YouTube TV, iHeartRadio.
Tailgates, game nights, big matchups, whatever the plan, Z-Biotics pre-alcohol probiotic drink fits into your pregame routine. It's a probiotic drink designed to break down a toxic byproduct of alcohol responsible for rough days after drinking. Pre-alcohol supports your body's natural response so you can stay sharp for what's next, even after a night out. Just drink a pre-alcohol before drinking and wake up feeling great the next day, all season long. Head to zbiotics.com/pod15 and get 15% off your first order. Backed by a 100% money-back guarantee. This statement has not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.